soon. From where I'm joined by Congressman Cicilline, Democrat from Rhode Island and a member of the Judiciary Committee, and Cynthia Axne, former federal prosecutor. Congressman, thank you for coming on this Friday night.
My pleasure.
So let's cut to the bone of this thing. Does Congress have the power to force compliance with its subpoenas for documents and personal testimony? Do you have the power to actually make it happen? Because here we are in June, and nothing's happened for 6 months.
Yeah, Congress absolutely has the power. There's a process we have to file. We will hold them in contempt by vote on the House floor. That will authorize the civil action, which is an action brought in court, and then the court will order them to comply with the subpoena. And then when they don't, if they don't, the court will enforce it by taking them into custody, imposing fines, or taking other actions.
Whoa.
So this is civil contempt.
I have to stop then. I want to stop you there. What would happen
Sure.
if they are scufflaws? Like people that don't pay traffic tickets. What happens if the administration people say, we don't care if you hold us in contempt, we're not coming anyway? What do you do then?
Well, then they have the entire power of the court. They're defying a court order, not only defying a lawfully issued subpoena, but an order of the court to comply with the subpoena, and they face all the potential sanctions of that, being taken into custody, imposition of fines, all the
But
all
the
the powers
Justice
that the court
Department has to enforce the Justice Department of William Barr has to enforce those contempt citations.
Well, the court has to. So the court would direct the law enforcement agencies to enforce those citations. But look, witnesses are not going to defy a court order. That's another constitutional crisis if that happens. But these witnesses will be directed by the court to do it, and I expect they're going to comply. If they don't, then the court has all those enforcement tools at its disposal. But look, the bottom line is the Congress has the right to this material. If we allow the executive branch to just decide to, defy lawfully issued subpoenas for documents or individuals, they would effectively extinguish congressional oversight. So clearly they don't have the authority to do that.
I agree, but I just haven't seen one. Cynthia, I haven't seen one witness being compelled to testify, not one document being brought in that was forced to be brought in, and I haven't seen anybody being cited with contempt. No one's going to jail. Nobody's been arrested. Nobody's been forced to do it. They've been laughing at the House.
They're laughing at the House. That's exactly what they're doing. Now, they have had some success. They have the Deutsche Bank case and the Mazars case, where they did win when they finally went to court, but that's, of course, going to have to be appealed. But they have to start. They have to get this H.R. 430, which is going to give them the authority to go straight to court and not have to deal with the Justice Department. They need to get it done, and not only for McGahn and Barr, but also for the Commerce Secretary and for Barr when it comes to the census issue. And in addition, instead of having big global lawsuits, which are going to go slowly, they need to do little chunks, like instantly, this witness was subpoenaed, she must appear.
Yeah.
HOPICs. And not make it too complicated, because when the lawsuits are too complicated, pretty soon there's factual issues, and pretty soon the case takes too long. So they have to be like little guerrilla raids. HOPICs must testify. Chris Kobach must testify. And this ridiculousness about executive privilege of his, that's totally improper. That has to be overturned. All these little things have to be done in guerrilla lawsuits, and they need to start now, because otherwise the House has no power. They look feckless. And there'll never be an equal branch of government if they don't stop writing letters and stop arguing about what these things are called and start filing lawsuits in federal court.
Well, in a letter today, Democrats in the House Oversight Committee revealed that they conducted an interview with Chris Kobach, former Kansas Secretary of State and an immigration hardliner, about the Trump administration's effort to add the citizenship question to the U.S. Census in 2020. The letter states that the White House instructed Kobach to not answer the committee's questions because his conversations with the president or senior White House advisors fall squarely within the scope of executive privilege. Kobach is a private citizen, however, who never worked for the Trump administration. Congressman Cicilline, it seems like they're willing to use executive privilege to cover anybody they like and any secret they want to keep.
Look, this is an ongoing effort of the President of the United States to engage in a cover-up to prevent the American people from seeing the truth. There's no claim of privilege that any court would recognize. They know that. This is, again, a pattern of this president to prevent Congress from getting to the truth, but behaving like he's above the law when, of course, he's not. It is why a number of us believe the time has come to open an impeachment inquiry to raise the kind of level of the importance of the proceeding, to strengthen our hand in our work in the courts, but also because because the president has continued to engage in behavior that in and of itself is a separate grounds for opening an inquiry of impeachment. But we're going to have to litigate these and fight them at every level. We're committed to doing that. No one in this country, including the president of the United States, is above the law. We're going to get to the truth. We're going to follow the facts where they take us, and the American people have a right to know.
We've got a calendar, however, facing us right now, and I've done this with a number of members of the House of Representatives and the Senate. It's June. It's come fast. We started in January. The Democrats won a sweeping election last November. We all thought, I've been promising this. When you have the power of the subpoena, all the rules change. I talked about how Nixon knew that, how much he regretted he couldn't carry the House in '72 when he got reelected by a landslide. But this power of the subpoena is not as strong as I thought it was. It isn't as strong as you thought it was, Congressman, because it's not working yet.
Well, I mean, remember, Chris, it is very strong. These are lawfully issued subpoenas that you're required to comply with. We are still a country, despite the president's best efforts, that has a rule of law, that has a system of justice that we have to follow in order to get those subpoenas enforced. We've never had a president before who so flagrantly disregarded, these set of protocols and practices and norms. So we have to stop walking around kind of startled and get to work, which we are. Monday to have our first hearing and our subpoena vote. We have to stop hoping the president is suddenly going to behave as if he will honor the rule of law and recognize these norms and be in a position, as Sidney said, in every moment in a guerrilla-like way to be able to litigate these. And it's important, Chris, while we're doing this, we've passed 250 pieces of legislation that focus on important issues like health care, reducing the cost of prescription drugs, equal pay for equal work, universal background checks, a whole number of things that are addressing the important priorities of the American people. So we have to do both things.
I agree, but you're not doing the other one, which is getting to Trump. Let me go to this one. Cynthia, are you going to be impressed when John Dean testifies? I don't see the purpose of that. John Dean's being called as a witness for Watergate.
I love John Dean. He's just one of the kindest, nicest men in the whole wide world, and I think it's ridiculous. But what we have to stop doing is having this back and forth letters like, you said you were going to do this, and quit negotiating. Stop negotiating and go to court. That's what needs to happen. And the Chris Kobach case is a lesson in point for anybody who wonders about what we should be doing. Chris Kobach did not work in the executive branch. There is no executive privilege. The White House is asserting executive privilege. It is wrong, and they have to go to court and get it overturned. Not tomorrow, not after 17 letters, not after we've talked about what's the shape of the table or what we're going to call the argument about it. It's wrong, it's improper, and they need to go to court right away.
Okay, thank you so much,
Chris, what you're going to see.
Yeah,
I was just saying, what you're going to see on Monday quickly is you're going to begin to hear the story. The American people are going to begin to hear the story of the president directing Don McGahn to fire the special counsel, then to lie about it, the firing of Director Comey to stop this investigation.
Yeah, but
that
we can
story
get
will begin to unfold in front of the American people.
David, Congressman, I'm going to make you a gentleman's bet. There's not going to be any impeachment. Let me know. Let me know. I'll morally from you, because it's not going to happen. Thank you, U.S. Congressman David Cicilline.